The purpose of this video is to show you how to set up the lab for the role of buffers. What I'm trying to do here is just show you how the software works in Spark View on our Spark data loggers as well as our Spark links. You have a choice or an option of using either the handheld devices or you can use the ones that are hooked up directly to your computer. Kind of up to you. If you haven't already seen the video on how to actually get all the equipment set up, I would suggest you do that either before or after this. Or maybe split it up. If you're working in pairs, the buddy who's going to work the computer or the data logger should see this particular video, and then the person who's kind of working and working with all the equipment probably ought to see that video, so that way you can split up the work. But the first thing you need to do is you first of all have to open up the actual lab. Either on the computer like I'll show you here or on the data logger, which is a slight variation that I'll show you here in just a second. If you notice right up here, you'll notice that we have 7.8 pH. That means it's the pH meter is working, so the probe is working and recording data as we speak. So what we do want to open up where we can find that, and when you do that, you open it up, you find the folder that says Pasco, and let me see if I can do that right here. There it goes. You find the folder that says Pasco, you open that, and once you find that, you're going to find Spark, and then you're going to find Experiments, you open that, and you go to Biology and open that one as well. And then of course a row of buffers. Now this is a lot easier on the data logger. What you'll need to do on the data logger is just basically hit open. It takes you directly to the experiments, click on Biology, and once you get on Biology you click on roll of buffers and you open it. And then what you have of course is this picture of the ocean, and that'll allow you to, and of course the title on it is also kind of evident as well. And of course you should know all of these icons already. If you don't, you may want to look at the very first page, and that tells you what all the icons mean. Also, if you click over here on the left hand side, you'll notice that you can go kind of page through it very quickly. You don't have to go page by page. So anyway, the whole idea behind this lab is to be able to do three very important things. Number one, you should be able to tell us what the buffer does. What's its purpose in life? Second of all, why do cells need buffers? What kind of protection does it give them? And then thirdly is, what role do buffers play in maintaining health of organisms? So those are the three questions you should be able to answer at the end of our time. I've given you a very thorough discussion of the background in the first video on equipment, so I'll save that for later. And of course you do all the self-checks, and every time you do a self-check, again, you click the camera to take a snapshot of it. And each and every time you take a snapshot, put a caption under what it is I'm looking at, what kinds of important information you need to convey to me. The more times you do that, the better off you're going to be. And then of course you have the safety issues, and then all the equipment is taken care of in the video, and then you continue to go step by step through this. Now it's really, really important to read these four things, because this will help you quite a bit. Once you have hooked up the sensor, you put the spin bar in the 100 mLs, I want to repeat that again, 100 mLs of water. You can find a 250 ml beaker or a 200 ml beaker or a 400 ml beaker, whichever you prefer. Don't make it too tall, otherwise it's too tall for the ring stand to drop in the pH probe. And then of course, then you pour 10 mLs of vinegar. Just let me tell you right now, the 10 mLs of vinegar is the thing that we're measuring the ability for these things to buffer. So you're going to have two solutions, one of water and one of club soda. And each one of them you're going to add 10 mLs to it. So on the first run, you're going to do water and vinegar. And then on the second run, you'll do club soda and vinegar. Those are the two solutions you're comparing, which one has the best buffering solution. Make sure you understand that, otherwise it's going to be a long afternoon for you. And then you're going to make a prediction. What do you predict is going to happen with the pH when you add vinegar to the water? Is it the pH going to go up and become more basic, or is it going to go down and is it going to become more acidic? That's what you're going to be guessing. And then of course you do the flip side. What do you predict happen to the pH when you take a vinegar and add it to club soda? So make sure you answer those first before we start the lab, and snapshot them and save them. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start this one just so I can show you what's going on here, because this is where a lot of you will make many mistakes. So what I've done is I've got this 100 mLs of water. You can see that right there. In this 200, and this is a 200 ml beaker. Then I'm taking my my pH probe. I'm putting it in the water now. Normally, I'd have this held with a ring stand and a clamp, but just for argument's sake and for demonstration's sake, I'm just going to put it in like this. And I know it's already working because when I first opened it, it said it was 7.8. So, according to the directions, it says tap the green arrow, and it's right down here. There's that green arrow. I'm going to tap the green arrow, read that, and then I'm going to record for 30 seconds. 30. That's really important because some people have missed that. I don't know how. But anyway, it says right here, record for 30 seconds, and then after 30 seconds, and if you look down here, this is where the clock is, 30 seconds. And after that 30 seconds, then you're going to take the vinegar, which we have, here's a graduated cylinder. You only put 10 cc's in it, or 10 mLs, and then you're going to, after 30 seconds, you're going to pour it directly into here to see what happens. So let's take a look at what happens when we do that. We're going to turn it on, and notice right away, this line is starting to track. And as it tracks, you need to take a look right down here in the lower left-hand side. There is a clock, and that clock is the thing you should be watching. At 30 seconds, you do not, I repeat, do not turn it off. You're going to let it run for another 10 seconds after you've poured the vinegar in. So, what's going to happen now at 30 seconds, I'm going to take this vinegar and pour it into here. Now notice, I didn't pour anything in because if I did, I'd spoil all the fun for you figuring out what's happened. So, let's say I did. We're going to stop it at 40 seconds. I stop it at 40 seconds. 30 with the water, and then 10 more seconds as it's still running with the vinegar. Now notice on this one, it didn't change at all. I want you to be able to look at your predictions before we do that. But let's take a look at one thing. Let's suppose I did do it, and it was a straight line. If we go to the next one, it says we need to find the X and also the Y data points. To do that, if you notice right down here, again, just above the arrow, the play arrow, there's this little icon. Looks like it's got a little graph on it, and that's called the graphing tool. You click on the graphing tool. Once you click on the graphing tool, then what you have is all these little tools. You got this cursor, you've got the auto scale, all these functions that are really terrific to have. It says right down here, 1, 2, and 3, tap the tool, the charting tool. And we did that. And then it says tap the cursor or the arrow key. You did that. And then now what you're going to do is tap a point. Let's say this was your initial, right over here, this is your initial, so I'm going to tap that. And notice right up here, we start at 7.7 pH. That's the initial. That's where we started. And then to find the lowest one, you say, okay, you're going to click that off, click it back on, and do the same thing again. Now, please remember, the initial was 7.7. The end point right over here is basically what you're going to be looking at. Okay, so when that's finished, then you're going to go to the next one. First of all, you got to take this off. You're going to click this off, and then you're going to the next. This is where it becomes kind of complicated for a lot of folks. This is because this is the chart, and people say, "Oh no, what am I going to do next? I don't understand this. I don't have the foggiest idea." Well, if you again follow the instructions, 1, 2, and 3, it says tap this thing. That is the chart tool. So that's right here. You click that, and then you click the arrow. You click where you want to enter the data. See, it says initial pH. That's where you want to click it. You're going to click it there and there alone. Just leave it right there. Now you want to add a text to it. You're going to click T, and it was 7.7, and you press OK. And look, it does that. Now to get to the final pH, you just click over here and do the same thing. And I'm just going to add 7.7 just because I want to. And then that's how you do that. It's pretty straightforward. Now on the next thing that you're going to do, you're going to click to the next one. And now it's club soda and vinegar. club soda and vinegar. You're going to do the exact same thing that you did for water and vinegar, except using club soda and vinegar. And when you're finished with that, let's go ahead and do that one. All right. We'll just get you started on this, and that way you can compare at least the initial portions of it. Okay, we have 100 mLs. I've rinsed off my pH meter, or pH probe, put it in there like that. And now I press, again, reading the directions right over here, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to let this run for basically 30 seconds. Same thing. If you look down here, you have 7.7 seconds. We're going to let that run for 30 seconds. And after that 30 seconds, then that's when we're going to put in our, here's this right here, and we're going to put in our vinegar, 10 mLs of vinegar. And you can see what's going on with the pH. 29 and 30. Notice I didn't pour anything in, primarily because I want you to figure that out. So I'm going to click stop. And again, notice it stopped. And again, we have to solve what goes on. So again, it tells you what to do. You tap on the charting tool. You tap on the arrow. Find your initial, where you start. You click on it. It gives you that 6.2. And you click it off. Click it again. And hit your lowest one, 6.2. Again, it's going to be different when you put the vinegar on. So don't worry about that. So I'm going to press OK. I'm going to click over here. Now what I'm going to do, same thing. I'm going to click the chart tool this time. Not the graph tool, but the chart tool. Click here. Push it right where I want it. Press the T because I want to enter data. 6.2. Press OK. And then turn it all off. Whoops, I shouldn't have turned that one off. Then I'm going to press it on the final number. Click T. And then 6.2. That, again, will be a different number than you had before. And then you turn everything off, and you go to the next one. It'll ask you to what happened to the change in pH. So you subtract this one from this one to get here, and so on. And then you can answer some of the questions. So I hope this helps you in solving some of the mystery behind some of the software. If you need some more help, call me over. And hopefully with this, it should help you kind of smooth the way to make your lab much more comfortable. All right, thanks. Bye.